All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachach Badash for the Spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone who do well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord, prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom, Barakathum. And you guys can see the video here. I'm gonna make this short. I just want to say a couple words on the matter, the scandal, whatever the hell you want to call it, regarding the Passover that the Israelite group Sakari had, which was a very, very poor taste, not in the vibration and the spirit of the Passover, or in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai for that matter. And you guys have to ask yourself what questions. What would Yahweh Shai do if he was in that environment? Would he be in that environment? What was his last Passover like? What was the vibe? All right, it was very solemn. He was very depressed and sad. All right, he wasn't doing the shit you see these niggas doing on screen, man. Now, yeah, you could go and debate about, well, technically it's not against the law, or you could find different things in that. The scriptures do speak about not making a whore out of an Israelite woman, and you can make an argument that that's part of what they're doing. But ultimately, these guys made a defense, basically saying they didn't do anything wrong. They're calling everyone else out, even went as far as to say, to suggest other Israelite camps were actually jealous that they didn't get an invite, which is folly, because this is Babylon, man. If brothers wanted to, there's shit like this going on in every city. If a brother really wanted to go be in that vibration, every Israelite camp has access to do that. These brothers didn't do anything exclusive that only they could pull off, and therefore the rest of Israel is jealous because they were able to do it and they weren't. No, brothers feel like y'all went off, man. And the main theme that I wanted to get on is abstain from the appearance of evil. All right. This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21. Says, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. All right. And what is good is to observe the Passover to be in the spirit of the Pesach. All right. To be in the spirit of mourning. Okay. That's how we observe. All right. Now, does it mean you can't go out other parts of the week and, go to a bar and have a drink or something, with the Akim? No, I'm not saying that, but overall, your spirit, you need to be in the spirit of fear, man. These guys are not walking in the spirit of fear. All right, they act like they know that the death angel is just going to pass you. Well, you could be of the 2/3. These are not men who fear, that the Most High could actually not honor them, not honor their prayer. The Most High doesn't have to save any one of us. He can leave us to that death angel. You don't know if you're of the elect. These are guys acting like they know for a fact that they're of the elect. Proud, man. That's not the spirit you're supposed to be in the Passover. And I would argue, how solemn was the assembly? Because in the video they said it was a solemn assembly. Then they concluded it, and then they went on it, and then they did that afterwards. Well, if you have brothers flying in, right? That there's a Passover pre-party, a pre-Passover party. There's a Passover after party. How solemn is the assembly going to be with brothers knowing, that all this mirth is going on? You completely ruin the vibe, man. And I know y'all know in your spirit that this shit is off. Ultimately, you know, and they're calling out other camps about you know, about how they didn't do anything wrong. Well, that's between you and Yahweh Bashim and Yahweh Shai, you know, ultimately. You know, I said my little piece on it. I'm gonna get Romans real quick. This is Romans 13 and 11. It says, and at that, and at Salakia, and that knowing the time that now is high time to wake out of sleep. All right, and you have very young brothers just coming into the truth, watching this. All right, not knowing that the Passover is not just a feast of unleavened bread, that there is way more serious than that. It's a solemn assembly. It's a time to remember the time the Most High delivered us, and it's a time to make amends with your brother, and a time to pray that the Most High is going to deliver us this time. Y'all got to remember, man, the first Passover that Moses commanded us to keep, none of those Israelites made it, man. Only Joshua and Caleb made it into the Promised Land. All right, so you can't be out here acting like just because you kept the feast of unleavened bread, that you did the ceremony, that you partook in the Passover, that the Most High is all good with you, man. The Most High don't have to save you. He doesn't have to let you into the Promised Land. You know, and this over indulgence of mirth. I can't tell you niggas from the rest of Babylon. You know, and that's why I say go back, abstain from all appearance of evil. All right, you look like niggas from the world, okay? Going back to Romans 13, because these young brothers, they're impressionable, you know. It says, "For now is our salvation nearer than we believed." All right, that was back then. What about now? It's even more so now. All right, and this is the spirit that y'all are in, not humble, not fearing. Now there may be some brothers that do in that camp. I don't know. I'm just speaking on what we see, you know. Verse 12, it says, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." All right. So there were things back I used to do back in the world before I started coming out to the camps, you know, taking this thing seriously, doing videos, praying, fasting. You know, I used to like smoking weed and going out and you know, hollering at women and doing all of these other fleshly things. But then you realize it's all folly, man, and ultimately it's a stumbling block. It's to get you in this pleasure cycle, just doing the things that you like without having any reverence for what the Most High likes. What does the Most High want? The author of everything, the one who has your salvation in his hands, what does he want? All right? That's what not fully detaching yourself from this world will get you. Verse 13 says, "Let us walk honestly as in the day, and not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying." And that's what these guys were doing. All right, they're just partying, man. You know, and when brothers come up to say something, they're already ready, defensive, because brothers feel some type of way. Now, this may not be as big of a deal if this wasn't on the Pesach. You chose, of all the times out of the year, y'all can fly brothers in and do what y'all were doing, but y'all had to do it on the sacred high holy day of the Pesach, man, which the Lord told you how to keep it. There's only one example of all the Passovers that Yahushua kept. There's only one that's written, and that's the last one, okay? And it wasn't no partying mood. There was no day before party. There was no pre-Passover party. Y'all are not following the Lamb, all right? Whithersoever he go, all right? It says, "Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and in wantonness, not in strife and envying." It says, "But put ye on the Lord Yahushua Hamashiach, and make not provision for the flesh You got brothers talking to these bottle service girls that you single. Like them girls are gonna tell you they got a man. She's on the clock. If there's any opportunity for her to get a tip from you, she's not gonna get it if she tells you she got a man at the crib. Then women are not gonna tell you that, man. But here you are, you've got bottle service girls. You can't tell them from strippers. All right, asking them if they single. You know, when brothers should be in a completely different spirit during the Pesach. You know, it says to fulfill the lust thereof. All right, so that's what this whole thing was ultimately. You know, if you try to say something else, you know, uh, then you brothers are not being sincere. You know, so that's my piece on that. Um, I said what I had to say. You know, brothers need to be. As a matter of fact, let me get one more precept to back that up before I go. This is Ecclesiastes 7:3. It says, "Sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of the countenance the heart is made better." And that's the spirit that Yahweh Shai was in. All right, and the disciples were in, the 12 disciples. All right. It says, "The heart of the wise," verse 4, "the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth." So what y'all did was foolish, man, because that's where your heart was ultimately. When you got a party before the Passover, after the Passover, like we know where your heart was. There's no way your spirit and your heart was completely solemn during the ceremony. You know, if that's what you got planned, you got all these brothers flown out. You're renting out clubs. You know, women twerking, man. You know, our women twerking. That's a shameful thing. That's not something you put on display. That's something to be embarrassed about. That's something. That's the legacy of our women in this kingdom, and y'all are furthering it. You know. So I said what I had to say. Again, hopefully y'all brothers were edified. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachach Wadash. Shalom.